I go by the name of DJ Element, but a lot of people don't know my real name. My real name is actually Gurnoor Bedwal. Lived my whole life in Surrey, except for when I was born. I was actually born in India. I moved here when I was very young, 3 months old to be exact, and Surrey's been my home ever since. So DJ Dalla, his wife and I went to high school together. Her sister and me were really good friends, and I got to meet DJ Dalla from a younger age, just kind of seeing what he did, and I was always intrigued by it. And then just kind of didn't do much about it. I always said I wanted to. Told him, he was always on board with me coming on, and then eventually, about 4 years ago, I reached out to him, and here we are now.
So, Akash, DJ Energy was working this morning, like I had an early start. So he's like driving here and he's like, I'm half asleep. He's like, you mind if I take a nap? I'm like, sure, but we had a lot of things going on before. So the guy just went downstairs and took a nap for like an hour and a bit. And he just asked me, he's like, yo, do you want me to come back upstairs? I told him there's food. I'm like, yo, there's food if you want to come eat. He's like, yeah, I'm coming up. So that's the life, man. We don't, like some of us, we have to sleep in our own cars and stuff. It's not easy. It looks all fun and games, but it ain't easy.
Did the slideshow kind of work out?
Yeah, we're good. You're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can keep doing that.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
Quick.
How many tables are in total?
There's 32, I think.
Okay.
8:45, 9 now.
Okay. That's fine. I have music playing, so it's like everyone's like, you know what? Everyone's mingling. It's fine.
No, I feel like
Sounds good.
I'm not gonna have
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so my first time coming onto the team was actually the boot camp, which is almost 4 years ago now that I think about it, when I first came on. And that was just me, Harp, a couple of other people who were learning just the craft of DJing. It'd be an hour during COVID, and we're stuck in a small room in Harp's house just learning how to use the turntables. The first exposure to the rest of the team was our first meeting, I want to say, which was actually about 2.5 years ago. So there was about a 1.5 year gap where I didn't meet anybody. And I remember walking in, I was really intimidated. And some of the guys really intimidated me just by their presence. I bug him about this all the time, but I thought Tigertronic Raja was one of the scariest people I'd ever met in my life. Just his demeanor, sitting there, bigger guy, huskier guy. I just was so scared to even get a word out, and now he is one of my closest friends, so it's crazy how things work. I do remember my first solo gig though. My first two exactly. The first one was actually it was a house juggle party I was doing. I was super nervous. It was like end of July. It was like, I think there was a heat wave going on, so I was already nervous, and then on top of that, I'm a nervous sweater. So I started sweating a lot, and it was hot on top of that. So by the time I even got to, like, I had unloaded all the stuff, I was fully drenched in sweat. I had another guy coming with me, like my support DJ, and it was actually his first day ever DJing as well. So it's not like I had an experienced guy with me. I had told him to bring a table, he didn't bring a table, so I had to send him back to go get one. I set up and I did it all like in a rush, and I was panicking, like freaking out. Luckily I knew some people there, and it kind of eased my nerves, but I remember like just I was so nervous about what I was doing, and I was panicking about whether I'm doing this right or not, because there was no one there to kind of critique me. But it turned out well because everyone had a good time that day. And just this past summer, I actually got to DJ the first cousin of the guy, his reception. So it's cool. It was a pretty cool full circle moment for me with that one. Second one, funny enough, was I was supposed to support DJ Vermani, and about 45 minutes before the gig, DJ Vermani told me he couldn't make it. This is about a week after the last one. And this is a hall event, so I was a lot more nervous. And me personally, I remember, I think it was a terrible gig I did. I don't think there was any good moment about that. My headphones broke while I was setting up, and like, I had no idea what I was doing, and I remember I just wanted to get out of there, and I was by myself. So the first time I had somebody, this time I had no one with me, so it was painful. And I remember some people, you could just tell, were not amazed, but it's the growing pains of becoming a DJ.
We'll play the song, let's go. Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, everyone jump! Jump, 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 jump! Make some noise, let's go! I go by the name of DJ Only. This is we will put a little door right here. I want you guys all to do one favor for me. I know we're a mixed crowd. Everyone put one hand up in the air. One hand up, all the way up, as high as you can, as high as you can. But you guys came with energy. But just by a little bit, I gotta give it to you, Brian. It's okay, it's okay. It's alright. There's plenty of time left, there's plenty of time left. It's still a tie game, we got 3 more rounds. You got 3 more rounds.
I feel like any advice I'd give is don't be afraid to make a mistake. I feel like I was so concerned about making mistakes that I was trying to be a perfectionist. Like when you're learning, especially doing something that involves crowd engagement, you gotta be willing to be able to make mistakes. I guess owning up to it as well. Like now if I make a mistake and people realize I made a mistake, I'll just grab the mic and I'll make a joke about it and people, it's just a lot lighthearted. Before I'd make a mistake and in my head, I'd just get in my head. I feel like that would also affect what I was doing. Just being able to show up, do your thing. If you make a mistake, just acknowledge it and just know, okay, I made a mistake, whatever. And just keep moving forward. Don't let it hold you back. Don't let it bring you down. And just keep pushing. Yeah, for this year's energy compared to how I prepared for this year compared to other years. Last year was actually my first full year DJing. So I took a very different approach as in okay, this is my first year. I gotta, be on top of things. Very there's some nerves around it too. And by the tail end of last year, I guess all the restrictions were also coming off. So this year was probably going to be my first full, let's say, quote unquote, normal year. I feel like I got a pretty good start with it just for the start of the year. In January, I was able to do 4 nights. So I got a bit of a head start on my wedding season, I guess. Even though that wasn't a wedding gig, but just a different type of exposure to a different type of crowd. And I feel like that experience allowed me to build forward towards the rest of my year, where I was able to be a lot more creative in my sets, try different things, and kind of push my own boundaries of what I was doing while behind the decks. And it was able to translate the club party vibes into a wedding vibe. It was fun, it was cool, and I feel like that experience really helped dictate how it would turn out for the rest of the year. The most unusual song request, oh my God, right away I know exactly. I think this is still during cocktail hour, it was a gig. And an uncle comes up to me and he was like, dance floor jo shuru karna, taan mein gaane na shuru karna. I just looked at the uncle thinking he was I was like, no, this guy's not serious. I'm like, hanji uncle ji? And he's like, taan mein song gana, kal vyah siga, ek taan mein gana lagna chahida, fir aapa nachin launge. And I was like to the uncle, I'm like, uncle, that's fine. I don't really, if you want to, I can, but I'm like, it's meat vi hai, it's sharab vi hai, changi gal nahi hai. He's like, nahi, lana paina. And luckily it was a gig where I knew the groom very well and his family, and his brother came up to me and I told him what the scenario was, and he just talked to the uncle, kind of got the uncle to just forget about it. But I remember throughout the night the uncle just kept giving me daggers because I didn't play the Dharmic songs. So moving forward, please do not, people, anybody, do not ask me to play a Dharmic song at a reception. I kind of feel like it's disrespectful, and I just flat out won't play it. There's 2 songs. Horglassi, I feel like just turns people, that comes in. Horglassi, G-Garda, just that mix of songs, people go crazy to that. The second one is I have a mix to Dollar by Sidhu Moosewala, and that specific mix just gets people going crazy. No matter like if the party's dead, whatever, they'll hear that song, they'll hear that mix, and it just attracts everybody to the dance floor. And from there, I can just literally go any route I want to. Go to slow down song. Yeah, usually I tend to actually allow the bride and groom to choose something. I'll give them some options, whether they want to do like a Hindi song, a Punjabi song, or even like English song. I'll give them some suggestions, but ideally, if they like, hey, we picked the first song, you choose the second song. My go-to, if it's English, is Perfect by Ed Sheeran. I think it's a pretty easy, basic song. And if they want like a more Indian one, I would do Tum Hi Ho for the Indian song, if you do slow dance.
Let's go!
There was a couple. And they were both pretty similar situations, where just a group of people just were very persistent of the music they wanted played, and only wanting that music and just kind of harassing me towards it. The first instance, it was like a group of guys, like 7 or 8 guys, just wanted the same song played over and over and over again. I had played the first couple of times, but it was getting annoying to the point where I was like, hey, I'll put it on, just give me a bit. But they were the type of guys like, no, I want it on right now. Put it on right now, I'm gonna turn the party off. I remember hearing that and I was like, okay, I'll turn it on. I'm like, okay, I'll do it right now. Cut the music to half and everyone just looked at me. I got that point, what I did is I just grabbed the mic, I called the bride and groom over, I notified them of the situation. The groom went to talk with them, and the groom actually told me, he's like, just end the party a little earlier than what I was expected. So that worked out. But then the second event, I called the groom over to talk to him about the same scenario. It was instead of, for the second scenario, it was mostly like one person at a time, but just a lot of people were coming up to me. I just told him what the scenario was, and he was kind of enabling the behavior himself. So I kind of knew I was screwed in that sense, where I couldn't really do anything. So I just kind of, at that point, because I was getting harassed so much from like everybody, not just like a group of guys, it was like guys, girls, aunties, kids. Anytime they asked a song, I just play it, let the whole song play out. It's like I literally became a YouTube DJ at that point. They were happy. I honestly was not that happy after that gig, but like sometimes there's not much you can do in those scenarios, so. Usually going to a gig, I'll tend to play a song that like is like my song for the time, like for the week, for the month, or for that day. And I just tend to blast it in my truck the whole time, maybe sing along to it, just kind of get that energy going. It's weird because, yeah, sometimes the crowd might not show energy, but sometimes if the crowd even shows a little bit of energy to a certain song, I will feed off of that. Typically my energy comes off from the crowd. For me, it's just people's energy, I think, is the gist of it. That's what I really do. There's no like strange rituals or like pre-game things I like to do. It's just simple, just people's energy. First thing I do when I get to the hall, I'll do a sound check. I always do a sound check. And it's every time it's the exact same songs in the exact same order. And it goes Brown Monday is first. From Brown Monday, I go to Romeo. From Romeo, I go to Hypnotize. From Hypnotize, I'll go to Goat by Sidhu Moosewala. From Goat, I'll go to Click That Be Kickin' It by Karan Aujla, and then it'll be Lean Back, Fat Joe. So those are the 6 songs I play for a warm-up, just a sound check, every single gig, no matter where I am. It has the highs, has the mids, has that bass, so lets me know. And then boom, from there I'll put on like a little mix. Because usually at that time people aren't here yet, I'll just put on like a background mix, and then if I have any like last minute things I want to grab, like my charger, bottle of water, or just go say hi to the bride and groom or whatnot, that gives me the time to do that. I think it's just been the fact that I've been so open to knowledge, like in terms of just trying to learn more in terms of like the music aspect, whether that's watching YouTube videos on how to improve my sets, certain, like maybe adding just a certain effect button onto my on my controller. That like it might be like a crash symbol or like a hey or whatever. And I think another thing is like just pushing my limits. I feel like sometimes a lot of DJs, I think they can attest to this too, that fact that they have like a certain style they want to play with and they don't want to sometimes step out of that boundary. They want to stay in that. I think for me, because every gig is different, every crowd is different, every crowd wants something else. Just kind of pushing myself to see how much I can put, like how much I can get them going to a different crowd. So let's say a crowd doesn't like, I don't know, they don't like, I've had crowds where they didn't want like Sidhu Musiala, for example, they didn't want his music. That's what the bride and groom had written down, but I saw some people, a couple people asked me for Sidhu. Okay, I threw one Sidhu song. Okay, threw in the second one, third one, and eventually I was playing just regular Sidhu songs like I do and every other party I've done. So just like being able, not being afraid and being able to just push that boundary per gig, every gig, I think was the biggest thing I learned. And not being afraid. As you can see, just because we're DJs doesn't mean we don't get hands-on. We need to get hands dirty as well sometimes.
Dirty location here.
A little bit about me. Okay, cool. So my hobbies, I guess we'll start with that. I love going to the gym. Might not look like it right now, but I do love going to the gym. That's what brings me my mental sanity to last the whole wedding year. I love sports. Like I'm a big sports guy, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey. I'm in fantasy for all of them. I love to go to sporting events. Big fan. I love cars. I've always had a passion for cars since I was a kid. To this date, it's been very active, whether it's small toy cars or actual big boy cars. I've spent a lot of money in cars too. So that's, I think, one of my biggest passions. What else? I love music. I know it's kind of cliche for me to say, but I love listening to music. I love watching music videos. I love making music. Obviously, with me trying to become a producer now as well. So yeah, how did I get into production? Really one person's, like the first person I really saw that I felt like I could do this was Icky. Just seeing him, where he came from, what he started with, and how far he's come, and he continues to keep growing beyond just the Punjabi music scene. It's crazy, it's amazing, like hats off to him. But just being, obviously being really good friends with him, close connection, I feel like in my head, I was like, if he can do it, I can most definitely do it too. And just from there, talking to other people in terms of music production that work closely to me, and just kind of going from there and just trying to learn the production side of things as much as I could at the time, and then just keep building. Got one song out, and now just continuing to grow as a producer as well, while obviously being your friendly neighborhood DJ. So the first track, it was Akalake for me with Raju Johal. It was wild. Around that time, just a little bit before that was when I just started dipping my feet into production, like actual beat making and not just making mixes. And I was just learning, and I brought up to Kyle, DJ Vermani. I was like, yo, like let's see what we can do, make a song. And he told me Raju Johal was in town. He actually, for those who don't know, he's in Toronto now. And me being in Vancouver, he was in town. He's like, let's meet him. And we met up at Kyle's house, and I remember he was like, yo, I have a dummy, like let's just make something. I have like some vocals, let's see what we can do. And we had to make probably the desiest recording studio ever. We had Raju in the living room by himself with a mic and about probably 50 feet of wires running into the bedroom where the studio was, just to record the dummy. And then I want to say I got that, just the first verse and the hook. And from there I was able to kind of work with that, made the beat, send it to him again, and then he obviously did the whole song, sent it back to me, made some changes. He Sent it back to him again because the vocals weren't there and he wanted to add some extra stuff. Sent it to him, and then we got into the mix and master, and then I think from the point the song was mixed and mastered to when it came out was about 6 months. I think it was 6 months. Music video shot when he came back, obviously back to Vancouver, get it here, and then yeah, the song came out. That was my first official track, Akalake. Obviously, now that I'm up first song, now I gotta make the second song, right? So I've been obviously working with different artists, just kind of meeting new people within the music industry. I guess probably wouldn't have like pushed myself towards if I wasn't in the production scene. Just meeting different types of people, just kind of conversing with them, trying to pick their brains and stuff, and I guess just trying to see what niche works for me, what I want to do, whether it's more traditional Punjabi songs, whether it's more of like that R&B, hip hop. Like there's different, obviously Punjabi songs are not just Punjabi, it's just there's different genres to it. So kind of just finding my personal niche of what I want to do, and just kind of finding the right artist to work with. I mean, anyone can, again, pull a seat up, get in front of a computer, one guy records, one guy makes a song. Just kind of understanding what you want to do and who you might mesh the best with, right? So kind of going from there.
No, that was very synchronized from Jazz's side. I think.
You got a loop? Okay, perfect.
Okay, you know what? This is how we're gonna do this. Whatever side's the loudest will take that point.
I think definitely number one would be Galyanak. I want to say the second song was probably Dollar by Sidhu. End of the wedding season, but it really picked up was Softly. Softly was a very big song. So Galyanak, Dollar, and Softly were probably the three songs. I know Softly didn't make it through the whole year, but in the time I was there, it was crazy at how much people wanted that song and how often they wanted to hear it. I feel like a lot of them this year were very filled with energy, which I have honestly not really seen over the last couple of years. I've obviously tried to do my best as well to make them as energetic as possible. But there's a couple. I mean, I had a rock, paper, scissors off for the winning team. Whoever won the rock, paper, scissors wins the round. That was wild. I did a push-up contest. Now I've started the staple of mine at the tail end of last year where I started was the chug-off. Whoever can chug the beer the quickest. But I think the most memorable this year was probably I had a sing-off for the final point. The groom had actually told me for the last round wanted to do the singers on both sides. I remember there was an uncle and a younger guy, and the uncle goes first, and he does an amazing job. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no way, there's no one that's gonna be the uncle. And then the second guy goes and just absolutely sang, I think what, Chori Chori Takana, and absolutely just everybody on that dance floor went crazy. I went crazy. I was jumping. It was wild, man. Shout out to Robin Bedi, by the way. That was an unreal cover of Chori Chori Takana. I think that was probably the coolest thing I've seen in a dance-off this year. Not even this year, I wouldn't say just ever. It's funny, a lot of people have asked me that question. Actually, I'm also a licensed real estate agent currently, so I do that on the side in the daytime. So I probably would just be pursuing that. I spent a lot of time working in a bank as a financial advisor, so maybe going back that route. But I feel like it would have been somewhere in the financial district I'd be working in. I love numbers. As weird as that sounds, I love numbers. So maybe mortgage broker, maybe still being a real estate agent, I don't know where life would have taken me. Growing up, I mean, my parents are always very supportive of what we did, regardless of if it was not the most popular opinion, i.e. DJing. But they tried getting us to be active in everything. whether it was like sports, whether it was like extracurricular activities. They're very big on school, obviously. I think the first thing they got me into was like government camp. I used to do Kirtan classes from a young age. I was like 4 or 5 when I first started. I played tabla. It's kind of my first music introduction. Didn't really like it. I did it, it was fun, cool, but like the classes were just not my thing. I was a soccer player for most of my life. I played soccer most of my life. Played hockey, played baseball. Soccer was the one I played most though. Fun fact, I actually had scholarships to go play Div 1 soccer, Div 1, Div 2 soccer in the States when I graduated high school, but my parents didn't feel like it was, I was mature enough to live on my own and move across the continent to go to school, which is fair. I feel like in hindsight, if I look back at it now, I think that was a good decision they made. I was a band kid. I was in band. I played the clarinet in grade 8, grade 9, grade 7. I played the clarinet, the trumpet, and then I also played the electric guitar. So that was kind of my music, I guess, start. Left band because I was the band teacher didn't take me on the trip to Banff, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I didn't get chosen, so that was my end to music. And then I got into Bhangra a little bit after that, near the tail end of high school, and then from there is where music really, the DJing stuff really wanted to come back to me. So here I am. I remember when I first started DJing, my mom and dad were so opposed to it. At the time, I had just quit my job at the bank, and my parents like loved the fact that I worked at the bank at a very young age. I was 18 when I started, and I told them I'm a DJ, and they hated the idea because I had quit my job and I was not working, was not making money, and DJing was obviously, it's not the most accepted thing in the Punjabi industry, not Punjabi industry, I guess in Punjabi households. And I told my mom, I made a promise to her, like, by the age of 25, I will be on a billboard. It was a very bold thing I said to her. I'm like, if I'm not on a billboard by the age of 25, I'm like, I promise you I'll stop everything. I turned 25 in June now, I'm about 6 months away. And my time is definitely shortening in terms of getting on a billboard. So let's hope a song hits it and I'm on a billboard now. 5 years from now, definitely DJing in every possible location in the world. I think that's my next goal in terms of DJing, being able to go to all different corners of the world. Production-wise, I hope to one day be one of the biggest music producers in the Punjabi music industry, and just having my music heard worldwide in all corners of the world. I think that would be really cool. I feel like just being content with my life. I think that's something that people don't really, I guess, they say it, but they don't understand it, is just being content. I'm very happy with my life right now. Obviously, I'm hungry for more, and even 5 years from now, I'll be hungrier for more, but just being happy with the opportunities you've been presented with and the success you've had, and just kind of, I guess, accepting, you know, like what you have and just being content with that. Obviously, you're going to work for more, strive for more, but just being happy with what God's kind of given you, or what you've worked your asses off for all these years. What's up, everybody? It's your man, Element Music. I just wanted to come on here and thank everybody over the past year who've blessed me and allowed me to be a part of the special events, whether it was concerts, birthdays, anniversaries, or the wedding receptions. You guys allowed me to be a part of it, and I had an absolute blast. 2023 is full of a lot of new and familiar faces in terms of vendors and guests, as well as great moments, great memories, and great music. And I want to continue that on in 2024. I got a lot of special things planned in terms of content, music, and some tricks up my sleeve for live gigs. So stay tuned.